Have you ever had all eyes on you and you totally, completely bombed? My first radio interview live on the air, that was me. There were a few indicators that it would happen. So I want to walk you through this experience so that it does not happen to you. So I was invited to be interviewed on a live radio show. This was years ago now when I was beginning to get momentum with my networking for introverts talk. And that was going to be my topic. And it's something that I can speak off the cuff about, that I have a lot of knowledge around and thought leadership in. And then I remember in the warm-up interview, they asked about what I was currently working on, and I mentioned a workshop that I did maybe a week prior, female-friendly workplaces. For perspective, I had given this workshop, female-friendly workplaces, one time, and I had given networking for introverts dozens upon dozens of times at this point in time. And they expressed interest, like, oh, actually, could you do female-friendly workplaces instead? And I ended up people pleasing. Mistake number one. And I said, sure, yeah, I can talk about that. So then the interview was the next day, I believe, at 5 in the morning. I walked through a few talking points, but I thought, oh, I just gave this presentation. I pretty much know my stuff. There ended up being pauses that were a little too long between questions where you can't really do that on radio. I was also a bit tired. I could have and probably should have adjusted my sleep schedule multiple days in advance in preparation. This is a conservative Mormon radio show. I ended up talking about having tampons in the bathroom, alluding to periods, which I realized when I listened back to the replay, they actually completely cut that part out. So maybe they found that offensive in some way, right? But I was live on the air, so they couldn't have stopped me then. After the interview, I did the professional thing where you say, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for having me. And that got no response. And it made it very clear. And I think I even alluded to, oh, if you'd like to have me on to speak about my true expertise in networking for introverts, I'd be happy to do this again. Cricket. And it wasn't shocking. I knew exactly why they didn't respond to me because it was not strong. And the thing is, when you are on a radio show, especially live, you have to be quick. You need to be an expert in your field, and you can get these open-ended questions, and you need to know what to say, because if you don't, it not only makes yourself look bad, it makes the radio show look bad for having someone that they tout as this expert and they build you up. And if you're not able to deliver, that can effectively close that door. But in my case, let's say that that happened once. It doesn't mean, oh, wow, I should never do that again. It's like, well, maybe I should never change the subject at the last minute again. It's an invitation to stay rooted in what your true expertise is versus bending to someone's whim where they think, oh, maybe our audience would like this more. Or maybe, you could tweak it in this way. It's about knowing when to stick to your guns. If you are a thought leader or an expert in a given topic, there is a reason for it. You can have intersectionality, but make sure that you stay in your lane and develop the perception of you having that expertise by consistently delivering things that you know about. Here are the takeaways that I'd like you to have. First is, do not let others derail your agenda. They can have the best of intentions by like, oh, we think our audience could even like this more. But in those instances, graciously say that you're going to stick with the script, but that you're open to expanding upon different topics later if you're invited back. The second is to own your message. And beyond other people, it's really be clear on what you want to say and how you want to communicate it. And then when you're so rooted in it, you can have a free form back and forth that is unscripted. The third is to truly claim your narrative. It's not about saying a carbon copy of the same thing every single time, although that can be helpful from an elevator pitch perspective. Let me know if you'd like a video on an elevator pitch, and if I do create one, I'll link it below for you. But it's about being able to speak off the cuff and even being able to tie in current events or more recent situations within your life or your clients' lives as relevant to keep it fresh. And fourth, it's really about being of service to the best of your unique ability and not being everything to everyone. It's one thing to be flexible, it's another thing to betray yourself in a way. And sometimes we need to have these experiences to know the difference. Sometimes overcorrecting can help us get to a middle ground where we're like, okay, I know what I'm going to do or not do in the future, while keeping that space for some serendipities where flexibility will actually benefit you. And now I'd like to invite you to go ahead and stay connected, subscribe. There is a new video every week. I would love to be here to support you. Feel free to comment questions that come up, and it may be in a future video. Wishing you a wonderful day. Until next time.